Hey everybody, it's Greg again. It's another edition of Unbreakable, the podcast. It is Friday, October the 10th, 10/10. Good buddy. Uh, Today we're just got no birthdays, no music, nothing. It is gloom and doom here at the Smith residence bedroom. And, hey, I'm lucky I'm wearing this Phillies hat. It should be in flames right now. It should be burning. It should be toasting this hat with some good marshmallows but I'm not. Hey, we're going to talk Phillies. We're going to talk Eagles. What a terrible night in Philadelphia sports. Maybe the worst night ever. I'm old. I've been around a long time. I'm 148 years old. I admit it. But this last night may have been the worst night, the worst single night in Philadelphia sports history. Now, the last time the Eagles, the Phillies, and the Flyers all played together on the same night was actually October the 10th, 1993. So we're talking, I suck at math, so I don't know. What is that? 32 years ago? They all lost that night. They lost last night too. Okay. I'm sorry if there's any little children around. Get them out of the room. You might hear some cussing today because I'm pissed off. You know me. I mean, very easygoing. I'm as pissed off as I can be. But hey, that's sports. If you're gonna be a sports fan, you have to take the good with the bad, right? And we had the good last year. We had the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, and they still are Super Bowl champions. Don't forget that. I think that's why a lot of these people are celebrating today, anti-Philadelphia people. I was watching Michael Strahan on Good Morning America this morning. He's all smile with that gap tooth in the front, and he's all smiles and, because as we know, he was a former New York Giant. And he said, I'm going to have to go to Philly today with my windows down, blah, 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 blah. And it seems like everybody's piling them. Why? Because they're jealous. That's why. They're jealous because Philadelphia fans and Philadelphia sports have been good recently. I mean, would you rather be the Phillies or the Mets, who were already on vacation, right? And the Giants, I give them credit, they played a great game, but the Giants going anywhere. Come on. So let's talk about it. All right, let's start with the Phillies, since they played first in this thing. Well, first of all, it was a hell of a game, right? Wasn't it? It was a hell of a game. It went 11 innings. It was tense. It was everything you wanted in a playoff game. And great pitching by both teams. The hitting sucked, as it has for the Phillies all during this playoff run. Why is it that the Phillies just get tight? They get so frozen during the postseason. This Phillies team is made up of a lot of veterans. They're actually a pretty old team. Why is it that they get so scared? It's so tight. And this is even before the Orion Cookery blunder, which we'll talk about. I mean, this team they just can't hit like, Kyle Schwarber hits 56 home runs during the year. And he has one good game during the playoffs where he hits 2 home runs. And then they're back to stinking again. Last night, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber stunk. What is it about these guys? The pitching was good. We know that. The Dodgers pitching was good, along with the Phillies. But what is it that they can just go to, like, turning the faucet for the light switch on and off? What is it? The one thing about the Phillies is the consistent thing about the Phillies is their inconsistency. They are such a streaky team, hot and cold. And there's no in between. And it came out to bite him. All right, so let's talk about what really happened. Mariah Kirkering, bases loaded, got you know, was that Tommy Edmond or whatever the hell his name was, a little sold off dribbler to the band. He got what he wanted. It wasn't a line drive. It wasn't a difficult play. First of all, he botched it when it came back to him. That was the first mistake. If he would have picked it up cleanly, it would have been no problem. He would have been able to throw it to first base like he usually does, get the out, we go into the 12th inning. Where, by the way, Schwarber, Harper, and Bowden were waiting 12th inning. But no, that was the first mistake Kirkering made. He bobbled the little dribbler. All right, so then he panicked. He lost count. He lost, first of all, he lost track of the outs because he thought, well, throw to first base wasn't good. He has to get the out at home to cut the run off of him. So he wasn't thinking. He wasn't, usually a professional player, no matter where in the field, are saying, okay, if the ball was hit to me, what do I do? And he wasn't thinking that way. The moment was, he was overwhelmed by the moment. The moment was too big for him. And as one of the Dodgers said after the game, they cracked, we did it. And that's exactly what happened. He cracked. These are baseball players. They are made up. Sometimes we look at them superhuman. The way they can jump, they hit, they run, they catch balls and throw balls. And, not everyone can do what they do. Let's face facts. But we also have to remember they're human. And some people can take pressure and stress better than others. So these aren't robots out there playing. Just because maybe Ranger Suarez is pure, cool as a cucumber, doesn't mean that Ryan Kirkering is, right? You know what I'm trying to say? They're all different. They're all different. And you just don't know. If you stick a guy in there in the fire, then you find him. Well, we found out. Ryan Kirkering was a young kid when he was 24 years old. And he got stuck in this situation in the 11th inning. Hey, if you're going to be a relief pitcher, you got to be used to or be aware that you may be in some spots that are kind of pressure filled, tension. And he cracked. He just cracked because he forgot the outs. That's number one. Number two, he panicked because once he dribbled the ball, time just flew by. He was like, well, wait a minute. How much time do I have to throw this guy at first? Maybe I can't get him at first. Maybe I should go home and get the force play. And maybe even though JT, was pointing to first, so throw there, throw to first base. Maybe in Kirkland's delusional mind, especially if he's in a panic-stricken state, he may have misinterpreted JT's pointing as throw it to me, throw it to me. I mean, it's crazy, but it's possible, right? So who knows what was going through the guy's mind at the time. I mean, it just happened in a split second. So who knows, right? But as soon as he threw that ball home, and it was he wouldn't have got him anyway. The runner beat the throw. But it was way, and JT couldn't even grab it. It was way over his head. He knew what he did. Because as the Dodgers streamed on the field celebrating, he was there like a statue on the mound, with his hands on his knees, bent over. What the hell am I just doing? This is going to follow me forever. Anyway, even though the Phillies were consoling him, patting him on the back, saying, good boy, don't let it bother you. We just got screwed and possible championship, screwed on the extra running, home game, it is going to follow him forever. because how can it not? I mean, that's the ultimate situation other than being in a World Series, right? You're in a playoff game, an elimination game, and you have an easy play that you throw away. It's like the Bill Buckner play back in the 80s. When the last time the Mets won a world championship, that's how long it is, you know. Bill Buckner let that ball go through his legs. That's won the game. They lived to play another day, and they won game 7. This was worse because it was an elimination. There is no game 7. There was no game 5. It's over. So it is going to fence his shame, but it is going to follow him for the rest of his career. He could have a great career. He could go on to save 300 games. He could he could have a really great career. He could all-star teams, but it's always going to follow him. But that's the way life is, right? I mean, if we make a mistake in life, especially like a crime or something, we pay our dues to justice, society, and hopefully we move on. And he will move on. But if you do something stupid as a kid and you pay your dues, you move on in life, that doesn't mean that something that you did is stupid is going to just disappear. It's always going to be there. But that's what life is. Everybody has a skeleton in the closet. Orion Kirkery just has like a doozy of a skeleton because it's out there, you know, no matter what team he goes to. You could say, I'll trade his ass. You know, you hate to bring him back because it's going to be a bad reminder to the fans. Imagine him coming into it. How can you trust him? I mean, not that the situation is going to be that desperate as last night, unless the Phillies get back in playoffs again next year. But how can you trust him? How can these fans have any faith in him? Are they going to boo him? Is his ego going to be so fragile that he's going to crack again? So in one way, it may be good if the Phillies unload his ass and trade him, and that way he could get a fresh start with somebody else. Or he may want to, he's still young, that's the thing. If he was 38 years old, if he was one of these rundown, washed up newsmen like David Robertson, he wouldn't have any problem cutting him and saying, go to hell, goodbye. But he's only 24 and he does have talent. So you may want to keep him. You know, and other teams will probably be calling about him, knowing that the Phillies may have salary on him, and other teams might be able to try to steal him from the Phillies. So in that way, it may behoove the Phillies to keep him. But if you keep him, don't forget that image of him throwing the game away is always going to be lingering. So, but you know, it never should have came down, my friends. Scoring one run in 11 innings is pathetic in an elimination game. After what they did the night before, you thought the boys had it all figured out, and they'd come out. And the first inning really sucked because the Phillies had a couple guys on base, first and third, 2 outs, and Brandon Marsh, boy, did he stink during this series. Strikes out. And he sucks. He sucks. I mean, Brandon Morris turned the season around. I give him credit. Second half of the season, he thought, okay, maybe he's a player, right? He definitely can't play center field. He cannot play center field. We've already seen that. If he does anything, it's a corner field, preferably left field. He can't play center field worth a damn. And he goes into these hitting streaks, just like he did, where he can't hit anything. In the playoffs, he's pathetic, especially against left-handed pitching. He can't do it. I said when they made this trade for Brandon, it's a bad trade. First of all, you're trading with Logan and Hoppy, who happened to be your top prospect at the time. Number one. a better prospect than any pitcher in the Phillies have, than any infielder, outfielder. Logan Okapi was the #1 prospect. And not only that, a catcher, which is a sought after commodity in the Major League Baseball. A catcher, a young catcher with power. You mean to tell me you're going to trade him for an average outfielder? That's all Brandon Marsh was, average with the Angels. The Angels would have kept him. Brandon Marsh was considered one of their top prospects. And there was a reason why they traded. And it was because Brandon Marsh never lived up to the hype. So the Phillies thought they would reclamate him. Bring him over to Philadelphia. We'll get him to play well. He could be an everyday player. The only reason the Phillies traded Logan Poppy wasn't because he sucked. It was because JT Realmuto was blocking his way, which can be understood. I didn't have a problem trading Logan Poppy, although now I do. But then I did it because JT was blocking his way. But my problem was you only got Brandon stinking Marsh for it. You're going to trade your top prospect in the whole system, let alone a catcher, which is a premium position. You better get more than Brandon stinking friggin' Marsh. I don't care about his long hair, his greasy hair, and his ugly beard with food in it and mice and all kinds of stuff. I don't care about the thing is, and I don't care what a pin-up guy is and all the girls are out there. Go, why? Grow up. What I care about is getting more back from the Angels than just Brandon Marsh. And the Phillies got screwed in that deal. And when I heard about the deal, I was like, look, what else? What else other than Brandon Marsh? What else are the Phillies getting? Anyway, so the game should have never came to the 11th inning. The Phillies, number two, they kind of panicked when they brought Johan Duran into the game in the 7th inning. To me, that's a panic move. I know it's an elimination game and do what you have to do. That should be right there that the manager did not have any confidence in his setup guys. Strong, Robertson, even Kirkering, he didn't have any confidence in them to bring him in the 7th inning. None at all. So that should send a message to GM Dave Dopey Dabrowski that you need to improve this bullpen, damn it. Because the guys you have mostly suck. So he brings Duran. That's fine. That's fine. You bring Duran in. It's okay. The game's on the line. But you walk Ohtani to load the bases, even though he's 1 for 16 in his series. You pitch to Mookie Betts. And Duran goes ahead and walks him to force him to time run. Now what the heck? If you have such a great fastball, you throw it over the friggin' plate, throw it 101 miles an hour. I don't care where you throw it, but you throw a strike. If it wasn't for Duran walking a guy there, the Phillies would have won 1-0 in 9 innings. People are going to forget that because the relief pitcher, and he hasn't done it a lot in his career. I think they said in his career maybe 3 times he's walked a guy with the bases loaded. You just can't do that in that kind of a game. And I know a lot of the pitchers were borderline 101 miles an hour, high fastballs. He was hoping that Betts was going to chase them. And he had to put Betts away. But the walking is embarrassing and ridiculous. You're just giving the Dodgers the time. After that, you know what? Jose Luzardo did a great job. Luzardo is a stud. definitely keep him. I mean, he proved to me, especially during this run, this playoff run, that he is the stud. And luckily, he's still young, and the Phillies can, get a lot on that in the years to come. Uh, you know, uh, Christopher Sanchez pitched great again. Great, great, good. But he was running out of gas. You could tell it was something. Still, if I had a choice between, I know 2020 is always hard, but if I had a choice, if you're not going to bring Durant in, if you're not going to panic and bring Durant in the seventh inning, you're going to save him till you really need him to ninth inning. And I would have let Sanchez try to pitch out of that because he wasn't like he had like a low 90s in pitches. He still had something left. I wouldn't let him try to work his way in there. But this manager thinks he doesn't. He cannot manage a bullpen. But think about it. We see the Phillies take 1 out of 2 split LA. Normally we would have said that's great. The split LA, that's great. That's what you want. You come home, you play game 5 at home on Saturday night, you win game 5, you win. What hurt in this series was the Phillies losing 2 games at home. But come on. You don't lose 2 games at home. At least split. If you even split at home, this series would have come back to Philadelphia Saturday. But to lose 2 games at home is ridiculous. All this talk about home field advantage at the back during the playoffs, it's a fraud. The crowds are great. I've been part of the crowd. The crowds are great. The players somehow, especially after what Nick Castellanos said the other day, when they move, they have a negative effect. Negative effect like this. If you play better than Castellanos, maybe the fans wouldn't be so angry. Maybe the fans wouldn't boo your ass. Your sorry, lonely ass. Well, you know what? I want him out. He hasn't been happy since he's been in Philadelphia. He wants to go back to Cincinnati. He's always complaining, yada, yada, yada. Go back to Cincinnati, maybe go to Chicago, play for the Cubs, maybe go back to Detroit, play for the Tigers, whatever. Just get the hell. I know he's a nice guy, but he's a moody guy. He's a moody guy. And if he's not getting along with the manager, get his team. 1 year left on his contract, I believe. Even if the Phillies have to pick up half of his salary, just get him in. Just get him in. He is a streaky player. He used to be a doubles machine at Castellanos. You'd always count on him getting 40, 50 doubles a year. Maybe 20, 30 hundreds. But he's not that anymore. He's streaky. 1 year he's got a good year. Next year he stinks. And he's a lumbering runner, as we saw. And he's a liability in the field. So get him the hell out. Dombrowski, get him out. I wouldn't say it was a mistake signing him, but yeah, maybe I would say it's a mistake. He's certainly not worth the money that they were paying. So, I mean, the Dodgers, God bless them. Hey, they're probably going to win their second world championship in a row. To me, they're very beatable. That bullpen stinks of the Dodgers. And the Phillies have some way of pitching to Ohtani, 1 for 16 in this series. I don't know what the secret is, but the Phillies seem to have a book on Ohtani, and every time he comes to Philadelphia every year, he doesn't do anything. So Dodgers were very beatable this series. And the Phillies basically blew it. Especially Phillies had home field advantage. And they blew it. They just blew it again. So to me, And we'll have all season to talk about any changes. But to me, it's got to start with the manager. I don't think he can bring his manager back. He's okay during the regular season. He'll get you the division. This team will get you 96 wins. Okay. But what is the goal? Isn't it to win the World Series? That's the goal. It's not just to win 96 games every year. That's nice. I mean, we could be the Colorado Rockies, God forbid. But if that's just your goal to win 96 games, maybe win the division, okay. Then you're happy with the team. But if you want to win a world championship, which I think should be the goal, then you're not happy with the team. And I don't think this manager is going to get you there because he hasn't so far. He's had chances to get you there, really good chances, home field advantage, really good chances. And it just seems like he screws up all the time. He screwed up that butt attempt by Bryson Stott in game 2, which really, you think about it, Phillies have 2 runs in, 4-3, Dodgers, bottom of the 9th. Phillies have Castellanos on second base, no outs. You gotta win that game. For him to say play for a tie is brutal. That's like one of the worst comments in Philadelphia sports history. It goes down with like for who, for what, terrible. You're playing for a tie at home in the bottom of the 9th inning. You're playing for a tie so you could go to extra innings and let the Dodgers have a chance to win it in extra innings. You're playing for a tie. Really? The Phillies are doing their meetings after they come back from Ellen. Dave Dombrowski needs to sit down with John Middleton and the other owners and say, we need to get this guy out of here. He is a loser. He's playing for tie. You don't play for ties. You know the old saying, ties are for ties is like kissing your sister. You get nothing out of it. Playing for a tie? Really? I would get his ass out. Because you got Castellanos at second, no outs. You've got to score him. It's like being a dead horse, but rather than butt, Castellanos is a slow runner. Stott, who has excellent bat control, can pull the ball, move Castellanos to third. Then you got him at third, 1 out. Fly ball. And you think about it, this manager screwed the roster up too. Because why do you need so many stupid pitchers on the roster? Taijuan Walker sucks. Stop with Taijuan Walker. I don't care. All these people say, oh, Taijuan Walker had a good year. No, he stinks. Get rid of him. Okay? The Phillies made a mistake by signing his names. Now, we have to pay the price. Taijuan Walker again and again and again. It's like a nightmare or something, and you can't make it through. Get Taijuan Walker out of here. Walker Buehler, who's a shell of himself, if you've got him on it, maybe some guy, Tim Lazon or whatever. You got all these guys, David Robertson, these guys who stink. And yet you can't carry one extra position player. Maybe a Justin Crawford, maybe a Garrett Stubbs. Both of these guys are faster than Castellanos. If you had a Justin Crawford on the roster, hello, McFly, hello, you could have pitched run Justin Crawford from the Castellanos. Crawford stays at the game in case there is a 10th inning, towards the 8th. Crawford has a chance to get the third base on that butt, or if Bryson Stott pulls the ball, Justin Crawford has a better chance to score from sacrifice fly to the outfield. Phillies win the game. Phillies split at home. All they have to do is split nil. They did, and you come back home with game 5 at Citizens Bank Park to win. That's the manager. That is the manager's decision to carry all those stupid pictures and not have a Justin Crawford or a Garrett Stubbs or somebody like that, an extra utility man, an extra outfielder, whatever, on the roster. That's the manager's fault and the general manager. We haven't even gotten in yet. So to me, the manager has to go. Okay. He just came on because he was a disciple of Joe Girardi. You remember Joe Girardi? All he did was sit in the dugout looking at his notes. And propped up there like a corpse. Got his ass out of here. And the Phillies needed a manager. So they promoted Thompson to fill out as interim. Don't forget, he was interim manager. It wasn't like this guy's a great manager. He didn't even have a job until he was 57 years old. That tells you a lot. This guy's in baseball his whole life, and he was never manager. We saw the true colors of Rob Thompson. Top. Well, to me, the Phillies could do better. Okay, just look on TBS. Jimmy Rollins. Jimmy Rollins could do better. He would bring a lot of enthusiasm to the club. He would kick some ass if he needs to. Fundamentally, he would make sure that this team is clean. Jimmy Rollins or somebody like Jimmy Rollins would be much better for this team than Rob Thompson. Come on. And I think now that Rob Thompson has screwed up yet again in the playoffs, now the general manager can get rid of his ass. Because don't forget, Rob Thompson was not Dave Dombrowski's man. Usually when a general manager takes over, he brings his own people in. Gets his own manager, gets the other people around him. It happens in any business. But Rob Thompson was not Dave Dombrowski's guy. Now, Dombrowski, if he wants to save his own job, can say to Middleton, all right, you need to get rid of this guy. Let me bring in my own guy. And hopefully he has an idea who wants to bring in. So this is the chance. I think we need a change, a different voice in the clubhouse. It's obvious the players aren't listening. Yeah, they're doing what they want to do anyway. The Bryce Harpers, the divas of the world, you know. These guys can party. They can party hardy. They really can party. But when it comes down to Alec Bowe getting all nervous in the playoffs, and everybody's nervous. But you're a professional. You're getting paid to play a game, baseball, a game that you've been playing your whole friggin' life. And you're getting paid handsomely to play. And it's not that like you're making like $1.95 a game. You know what I'm saying? You learn how to deal with the nerves and you play the freaking game, okay? People have paid their hard-earned money to go out and watch you bums all summer. They follow you on TV and on the radio. They buy your merchandise. They wear your crabby caps. Get over it. Grow up and get over the nerves, okay? So, like I said, we'll have a lot of time to talk about what the Phillies should do this offseason. But I can't wait till they call a press conference, probably like next week, Monday or whatever. And the first thing I want to hear is we have relieved Rob Thompson of his duties. Okay, that's number one. Get him the hell out. We need a fresh voice and a fresh attitude. And then I would say if Dave Dombrowski himself is still around, we need to make some changes because I've run this team back how many years now, and we're not getting over the hump. We're getting worse. So let's make a few tweaks. I don't think the Phillies are going to go into full rebuild mode as much as some people may like that. I don't think that's going to happen because they still got to sell tickets. I think they make some key changes though. To me, I think you got to bring Realmuto back because I mean, they traded O'Hockey. They traded this Tate guy in the Duran deal with Nick Abel. He was their top young pitching prospect. Who the hell's going to fill in? Marchand's okay, but is he an everyday catcher? I think you got to bring JT back, maybe a 2-year deal. And it's not what he used to be, but he keeps himself in good shape. And we saw, he was doing, he had a good play, good position. So you bring him in. I would definitely try to bring Ranger Schwartz. I mean, he is, whatever you got to say about the guy, he's not afraid of the spotlight, number one. He is cool. He gives you the innings, heats up the innings. He's not going to blow you away, but he knows how to pitch. That's my point. He knows how to pitch. So you got to bring him back. As much as I'd love to see Kyle Schwarber back, because he's a nice guy, he's a leader in the clubhouse. Hit 56 home runs. I don't think they're going to bring him. That's my gut feel. I think Kyle Schwarber should be one. And maybe he'll go back to he'll go to Cincinnati, his favorite team when he was a kid. Maybe he'll go back to Chicago. He was happy with the Cubs. And it's all going to come down to body. Don't let them fool. It's all about the this. They could say, "Oh, I love this town. I love the fan base." No, whoever is going to give them the most of this, that's who's going to get Kyle Schwarber. And yes, the Phillies need a DH, but they got plenty of candidates who could DH. JT, so he's going to need a break. He's not going to be able to catch him. Bryce Harper, yeah, plenty of guys. If Nick Castellanos is still, God forbid, if he's still around another year, he may be a DH. Got plenty of other DH candidates. Now, they're probably not going to hit 56 home runs, like Kyle Schwarber did, but the money you pay Kyle Schwarber, you can use that number of years. Let's face it, Kyle Schwarber is kind of locked in as a DH. He can play left field, but he's done very well. And he really can't play anywhere else. He tried first base, but so I don't think he's coming back. As much as I'd love to see him come back with the shore bombs and everything, he was a lot of fun and a lot of excitement. Home runs are always a lot of fun, but maybe the Phillies need to. It's analytics stuff pisses me off too much in analytics. That's another reason to get rid of Rob Thompson. Get rid of it and all these things. Analytics is always going to be in the game. You're never going to get rid of it totally. But lessen it a little bit, okay? Don't be teaching it in the minor leagues. Use it as a tool, but don't let it be your Bible. Get back to old school evaluating of talent and stop with the analytics. Jeez. So, as much as I'd want to see Kyle Schwarber back, maybe the Phillies would do better. They're playing like a Milwaukee, where you actually hit and run. You actually bunt when it's appropriate run. And you actually are playing with small ball. And you're not so dependent on home runs. Actually have rallies, what they call rallies, where you score 5-6 runs at a time, like getting doubles and singles and walks, and occasional triple and everything. You're not depending on a home run all the time. Get it? If you don't get a home run, you lose. Look what happened yesterday. So it will be interesting to see what happens in the offseason. And it's all going to start in the coming games. So let's see who comes back and see who's. All right, I know I've been on for time. So I'm going to wrap this up and I'm going to do another show today on the Eagles. And we're going to talk about those two gases here in Phoenix. So in case you don't watch the Eagles show, And I have plenty of here. He told me that's not going to be pretty. Keep one of the children away from the school. I wish you a good day. And I will probably be back one day to recap dreadful. Bad recap. Not bad recap. Yeah. It's a piece of love, everybody. Have a good weekend. Anyway. And don't forget, there's always hope. The Sixers will be starting soon. I'm just kidding. They stick too. Jesus. Okay, everybody. Peace and love. Watch this Philly show. Look for our Eagles show coming up soon. Take care.